Hello, I am a mess. Flat's a mess. Things are a little bit out of control at the moment. Life is scary, world is scary, anxiety is peaking. So I thought I'm gonna do a little, or I don't know, big, I don't know, vlog for the weekend where I try to rein in my anxiety. If you don't know, if you're new here, if you don't know, I have a diagnosed generalized anxiety disorder. One of the main drivers of my anxiety is health. It has developed into a very anxious topic in my brain, and obviously with the COVID-19 going around and especially the media coverages and also the fact that I work from home, because I have a lot of time to think about it, and also not so much an office environment where you can see people going around there about their day and just acting normal. So I'm sure that doesn't help. So for the last week or so I have really dipped and as much as I tried not to, there's moments obviously that I'm fine, but then there's moments that I recently has really slipped out of my control and I don't like it. And I'm not saying that I'm gonna fix it throughout this weekend because that is ridiculous, but I can definitely improve on it and also just come back and make sure that I have all of the things around myself that I know usually helps me. For example, a clean environment, which I currently definitely do not have. You can see a tiny bit here, but it's much worse than it even appears. I always find that no matter how bad you feel that things are, and no matter how much you think that you have very little control over things, there's always tiny things that you can help yourself with, even if they might not be the cure, you know. But there are a couple of things that I'm hoping to do over the weekend, and I thought I will bring you along because I know this is an anxious time for a lot of people. I realize that there's a big percentage of people who think that this is an overreaction, or that think that this is all that people are being too sensitive. If this situation doesn't affect you, make you anxious, I am honestly so glad for you. However, you can never know what a person has dealt before, and you don't know how this can affect someone. Everybody's situation is different and everyone deals with things differently. Everyone has different triggers and different past experiences and different current health situations. Please do not judge people. Please do not judge them if they're overreacting according to you. Please do not judge them if according to you they're underreacting. Everyone is doing the best they can at this point in time, and so I would really appreciate if you kind in the comments. If this video entirely does not apply to you, please just click away. It would be better for your time and my time and everybody's happiness. So if you are intrigued or think this might be useful, then obviously keep watching. If your immune system is a little bit all over the place like mine, for 11 months now I have been struggling with breathing, and so it is just adding to the whole thing because obviously it's lung related. So anyway, I thought I will bring you along pretty much unfiltered. I probably will speak about a couple of things. I will not sugarcoat things. I will show you what I'm doing. I'm obviously not filtering this. I'm showing you how I am with makeup and my mess. I will show you my mess for before and afters, hopefully. I have graduated from psychology. I am in therapy, but I am not a practicing professional. So obviously this is just your girl sharing things that hopefully will help me in case you wanna tag along. So both my anxiety and depression have really hit hard. I don't think I've had that kind of depression in a while because my thing is usually anxiety related. But I really need to shower. You know, if you have depressive episodes, you know, it's not the easiest thing. So my first couple of things to do are very easy in theory. So what I really want to do is I want to brush my hair, I want to shower, and I want to clean my face, and then I want to make myself a somewhat healthy breakfast, and we will take it from there. I don't have a list. I know some things that are helpful, and I'm going to see how I feel and naturally implement it throughout the day. Hopefully at the end of this video I'll be sitting here but in a much tidier environment, so it'll be all cozy.
cat spilled a little bit of Coke. So adding that to the list.
As you saw, I was doing some bullet journaling, or like planning or catching up, because the March month so far has been so crazy with fulfilling the orders and also setting up the owls, replying to people, and then also the anxiety depression hit. So you might have seen that I haven't actually even started in any of the spreads. I was thinking, better late than never. I still have like half a month to go through with the trackers and everything, so I'm starting that today. Oh yeah, I didn't even mention, but like my jaw and my like teeth, especially on this side, have been really hurting, but I don't know if it's from the flu that I had a couple of weeks ago, just a normal flu, or if, because that's when it kind of started, or if it's from anxiety. Maybe I'm grinding my teeth during sleep. I'm not known to do that like ever. I don't really grind my teeth, but I don't know, maybe I am now. So I'm just kind of giving it like a week or so to go away before I actually go to the dentist, because I have that phobia. So fun. I wish I was afraid of spiders or something, because then we don't have to voluntarily go and sit in a chair covered in spiders for like half an hour. Anyway, hopefully it'll go away, but that's definitely not helped because I feel on edge, and obviously like the jaw and teeth pain is just, but that's not why I took the painkillers, is because of my headache. So while I wait for that to hopefully kick in, I'm gonna put a little cooling strip on my head and try not to get upset that I'm having pains. And I think I'm gonna read and just relax until that kind of kicks in, and then I'll see what I can do at that point. But I think that's the plan. I'm gonna continue reading a book that is for another project, so I don't think I'm gonna show you, but I also during this weekend really need to read the first half of Red Sister, because this is our Patreon, and also read, rate, review, read. But on Monday evening, me and the Patreons are actually talking about it, and I'm only like 3 chapters in. So far so good. I was listening to the audiobook, and my reading is something that I do to relax, so let's do that to relax. Well, it is almost 8 o'clock now, and I have continued reading until I finished the book. So on plus side, I finished the book. On the other side, I didn't really do a lot of the things that I wanted to do, but I've still done enough. I'm not going to be hard on myself because every little bit is better than nothing, and it just, you know, just do what you can. I did have a little bit of a moment of panic. It's this kind of helplessness of when you have, you know, obviously government and when they do things different ways than you would approach things, and there's nothing you can do about it. You have to listen because you still have to go to work. Like, that's not for me, that's for Logan, but we live in the same household, so it affects me as well because I work from home, but he doesn't. And obviously because you have to work, which is ridiculous because most places would do it differently. But anyway, didn't go in the news, which is amazing, but I went on Instagram and all the stories, it's like it's impossible to escape, it's everywhere. And then Logan had a call from his dad and they started talking about that as well, so I got sent a little bit in a spiral. So then I decided, instead of stopping reading, I'm just gonna continue to like try and read, which I'm sure I read slower because of that. But I keep trying to tell myself I am controlling the things that I can control, and the things that I cannot, I can't control. So there's no reason for me to worry about this. Like, I just need to do what I can do, not let these worries consume me, because there's nothing I can do about this. This is gonna happen like it was gonna happen, and what's happening that is out of my control is gonna happen regardless of the fact if I spend the day worrying or if I spend the day dancing and being happy. So just trying to keep bringing that thought back. I'm gonna do a couple of exercises later on as well, and I think me and Logan might go for a tiny walk just now because it was good to get some fresh air, and I don't think there's gonna be a lot of people out at this hour because it's dark, and as long as you keep distance, it's much safer to be outside than in like a closed room with someone. So I think we're gonna go for a little walk, just a little one, you know? Well, it's day 2. I have put myself in one of my favorite freshly washed jumpers. We had a little bit of a slower start today, which is totally fine as well. I think the main message that I also want to like send to myself and to you guys, that obviously, you know, taking a bath and putting a face mask is not gonna miraculously cure your depression or anxiety. There's no such thing as a cure. It's a work in progress all your life pretty much. But no matter in what shape or form your self-care comes in and whatever you can manage, self-care is not self-indulgence, it is self-preservation, and I really want to focus on that. And if the most that you can manage is put that sheet mask that doesn't even require you taking it off with water, go for it. If you have the privilege to be able to do it, if you are in a situation that you can, there's always something to be done. I'm gonna take a couple of other steps today, and I'm gonna obviously show you as well what I have decided to do. I really hope this is kind of informative in a little ways to help. Like, I'm not talking about changing, you know, like I'm gonna do these things and then I'm gonna feel great forever. No, even as I was doing them, I don't feel that great. Like, any type of little relief, everything kind of helps towards the next day and the next day. And so it's all in the little steps until you can make bigger steps. And as I said, I will walk you through that little breathing and tension exercise that I have been doing since my therapist has told me to. In case you guys want to implement it, it's a very short one, but I will leave it at the end because it's still going to be like around 5 to 8 minutes, and I don't want to include that if it's not relevant or something that you don't want to do, so I will keep that at the end. But so it's all about that relief and kind of being like, what is the main thing that makes me anxious? Because in this situation, at least I know what it is, because a lot of the times I don't know what the specific cause is because it's way deeper and it's way more, you know, going back years and figuring out what it is that makes me anxious or depressed at that point. But at least now, silver lining, I kind of know what it is. And I also know that for me personally, as I said, there's a lot of different things that you can do and that works for you. For me personally, doing something productive is always making me feel better, and especially if I can do something for others, it makes me feel like I am useful, and it makes me feel better. So while I'm kind of like doing something nice for someone else, even if it's tiny, kind of selfishly, but also if it helps, then why not? And depending on how I do, although this might be a bit ambitious, I might start doing the Patreon letters today. I still have to wait for packaging to arrive for me to actually send that out, but it might be good for me to get going with that. In the meantime, it is 12 o'clock and I'm having my breakfast and I'm trying not to drill myself about the fact that it is basically midday and I am starting my day. So, you know, happy Sunday. Okay, so you know how I said I want to do something productive to also make myself feel a bit better?
No.
Meow. Anyway, so I'm thinking I haven't posted on Instagram like an actual photo in a very long time, so that's something achievable, and also because the owls are not far ahead, I want to make a couple of photos, or maybe just one today, that I've been waiting for. Oh my god, the shredder is already at it. Look at this. Momo, what is this? Why do you do that? Hi. So basically when I ordered these prints, which you might have seen if you watch my vlogs that I put them up months and months ago, I also ordered some dust jackets that look like the course books of, you know, Harry Potter lessons. So I put them aside, still in the original box, like here, for until it's Owl's time, and it is now Owl's time. This is gonna help me. You gonna open it? Come on. There you go. So I posted the picture. Here is the picture. That was a good kind of distraction, made me feel a bit more productive. However, afterwards I had a little bit of a anxiety episode, which is totally understandable, at least for me personally, and I know for some others. Things don't just stop like the day that you decide to take control over it, because it ripples. I like to think about it as an earthquake. You get a couple of waves and then you get the biggest wave and then you get like a couple of afterwards. And hopefully I can make those ripples smaller, but as I adjust, sometimes a wave hits and you're not prepared, or sometimes it's just what happens. And I'm trying to calm myself down a little bit, but I also think that it is time for me to go ahead and write my fears down, which is super fun. So we're gonna do a little bit of journaling. Journaling, I think, is a very powerful tool because you can do it anywhere. You can do it in front of others. Like if you're sitting somewhere, you can always pull out your phone or your notebook and you can write down some thoughts. I think it allows you to stop thinking obsessively about that one scenario or thought and put it onto the paper to focus on for later. It basically, for me, sometimes it works as, I like to imagine, like if I had a lot of money on my person, I would be like, oh, I really don't feel comfortable walking in public with this much money on my person because I feel like that is too risky. I want to put it in a bank. And then whilst I still have that money on me, I would be walking around and feeling very anxious. But as soon as I deposit that money into a bank, I can walk around and feel a bit better because I know where that money is and that it's protected, and I'm not just walking like a tourist. Then this is a weird analogy, but my dad taught us be paranoid about stuff like that. So to me, it's a little bit like that sometimes, that it doesn't always work, but it's better than nothing. And if you can train yourself, that would be great. One of the things that I studied about is this technique: try to schedule yourself worry time. So if you are worried about a specific thing for the whole day or like a week or whatever, it can really easily overwhelm you and make everything else quite difficult. And this is definitely a skill that you need to kind of learn how to do. But if you allow yourself time to be nervous about all of the things that you're nervous about, and let's say that time is literally scheduled in your schedule, you say that it's like 3:30, 4 in the evening, or like 4 p.m. I will allow myself to worry about things, and I will have that dedicated time in my schedule to worry about things. Once you kind of learn to schedule the worry time, some people find it very useful to do this as a practice every day, because that way you know that you have time literally scheduled for you to worry about things, and until that time comes, there's no need for you to worry about things because it's not your worry time. Some days even that time might pass and you never notice, and now you're not as nervous because you don't have this like spiraling going on throughout the day. Scheduled worry is gonna be way less damaging for the rest of their day than like if worrying in like small amounts. I say small, but it's not actually gonna be small, is it? But like worrying for the rest of the day, like spread out. I think that one way to do that is to have a little bit of a journaling time as well as having that time to worry, because the way that I'm going to be doing this, I haven't used the journaling stuff in ages. So the way that I'm going to do this, I'm going to just kind of vomit onto the page the list of things that really make me nervous. Scariest things. It's not going to be pretty, and it's not going to be fun. Hopefully, it's going to be useful. The way that I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it in a column with some space next to it, because me being me, I don't want to just leave it like that. I think it's therapeutic just to do so to begin with, but I think it would be better for me to leave that column there on the right side, so then I can come back and try and counteract that thought. So, for example, and this is gonna be a made-up one because I think that is way too much for me to actually share my actual deepest worries. But for example, I would be worried that my cat would get leukemia. And if this is a worry that is constantly on my mind, and it's like obviously very scary because I obviously love my pets, but then to counteract that thought, I would write down, first of all, my cats are not that old, they're only like 4 years old. Second, they're inside cats, and we only walk them a couple of times per year. They are up to date with their vaccinations, and Bengals actually naturally have a lower possibility of having that. So all of these things would then kind of counteract that. Obviously not everything might be so easy to counteract, but maybe after I've done the list I'll find a better example. But you get my meaning. Like, maybe there's just literally so little evidence to support that worry that writing it down and writing all of the points that would say, look, this never happened before, statistically very unlikely, or these are actually the points that counteract your worry, and worst comes to worst, the one point that you can always come back to, point or worry that you can actually do something about it. If yes, what could you possibly do? And if not, then, you know, as Newt said, worrying means suffering twice. So if you cannot do anything about it, the best thing to do for yourself and those around you is to try not to worry. Majority of the things in our life that we are worrying as anxious people, I truly believe, are things out of our control. Because a lot of anxious people like to have control. There's a lot of bits that come in with anxiety, that people with anxiety are often also very organized. They like structure. They have particular systems for things. It's because they're trying to have control, because more likely than not, there's things in their life that they can't control and they scare them. That is actually why anxiety goes so hand in hand with eating disorders in mental health fields. But anyway, not the point. The point is that the whole anxiety thing, A lot of the things that we are worrying about are out of our control. What isn't out of our control is how we react to things and how we take the information in and how we process it and how we deal with it. It is not easy to obviously keep calm, because sometimes, especially if your anxiety is also similar to mine, where it's very physical, it is so hard to train yourself not to do that, but doing something and trying something is better than not. So just reminding yourself that you can control how you feel about it, you can control how you react to something, and you can do something about it, even if you think that it's minuscule. In the long run, maybe that meditation that you do for 5 minutes every morning, maybe after a couple of months, that is what's gonna make you feel much more relaxed for the rest of the day. So that is the plan, to write down all of these awesome fears that I have currently and then try and counteract them. And then afterwards, just to top it up with something a bit more positive, I think I'm gonna turn the page and write a good old gratitude list. So some things that I'm grateful for today are my cats being oblivious to the whole situation and just being their happy selves. Having an online community I know I can reach anytime, anywhere. Not being afraid to self-isolate, because I know this wouldn't be as easy for some extreme extroverts, where I feel like I've been training for this my whole life. For having so many books available for me, for my ability to sleep, for my privilege of being able to check in on my parents, and for the privilege of not having to hide my fears because I have understanding people around me. And some of the fears that I wrote down, they're all very focused on the ongoing situation, which is understandable because this is the trigger that got me here. Some of them I honestly am pretty out of control. I can do pretty much nothing about it, and there's that. Okay, so I have lit myself a candle, I have some water. I try to drink at least 2 liters a day, and I usually have no issues with that, although today I think I drank a little bit less. But what I am going to do now is I'm going to have a little tarot meditation session. I didn't get a chance to do my yoga because Logan was playing with his friends online in the living room for majority of today, and I kind of don't like doing yoga when he's there. I like to do it kind of alone, so I might just do that tomorrow when he's at work during my lunch break or something. But instead of that, I still want to do some type of meditation, and I used to do tarot kind of guided meditation, which I've spoken in my vlogs for a while now, but I don't know if you've seen that or not. But I do not claim to know a lot about tarot. I do not do it spiritually per se. I do it as a meditation because normal meditation sometimes fails me because your girl is a bit too busy in her mind to manage that. What I found amazing is my interpretations of the tarot readings for myself and just focusing on keywords that I find that pull at my attention and like grab at the subconscious, and then I find things about myself that I didn't focus on, and it's just my subconscious telling me what to focus on through reading the descriptions, if you know what I mean. So it is basically just that. It's like a psychological self-evaluation rather than a spiritual reading for me. I'm probably just gonna do a 3-card draw. I will show you the deck that I'm using for that, and it's my very first one is the one that I kind of like the most. So the first card is gonna be about what to change, the second one is gonna be about what to nurture, and the third one is gonna be about what to focus on. So it's gonna be a simple, hopefully insightful little reading about what I think I should do. And you do tarot, I think you'll agree with me that there's always this one deck that always like hits different. This is the deck that does that to me. That is how the back looks like, that they're the glossy kind, which I don't prefer. As I said, like the artwork is stunning, but it's not my full aesthetic. And whilst I love a lot of other decks, this one just always hits different. If you don't ever use tarot cards, you're probably like, what are you talking about? But you know what? Whatever works for anyone. But there was one sentence from the first card that was things to change, that was just didn't even have to paraphrase it for my own application, but it says, by keeping it simple, you move through your day with ease. Obstacles no longer cause hours of fear. Instead, you simply work to overcome them. You learn, you grow in experience, and then move on to the next moment. That is definitely things to change. So I think my next thing now is gonna go and have some chamomile tea with Logan, and we might pop on some face masks or maybe like a face peel. I'm not sure. Something of the sort of the very, you know, stereotypical self-care. But hey, whatever you can do. I can't really take baths at the moment because it doesn't work that way. I always get like semi-panic attack afterwards. Just don't know. So this is another tiny thing that I can do today that doesn't require me leaving, doesn't require a lot of effort. Another little thing that I want to talk about is knowing your timings and seeing if you can prepare for that in like anything specifically. So for me, for example, not everyone's gonna have a pattern like that, but I personally 90% of the time have my worst anxiety around 3 to 4 o'clock during the day, and then when it starts getting dark. It's always those couple of hours that are like I am at the highest of risks. If you don't know if you have a pattern, I would highly recommend just keeping a little bit of an anxiety journal for a month or two just to see if it is a thing, because then there is some steps that you can definitely take. For example, still use caffeine for a couple of reasons. I don't drink a lot of it. I only drink it once per day, and I try to drink it early in the morning because mornings are much easier for me. And then because I know that around 4 o'clock for me is harder, then I try to limit caffeine around lunchtime. I try, like if I hit lunchtime or if I hit like 1 o'clock, I'll then skip the caffeine entirely that day rather than go and drink it. Now you might be wondering, why the hell I'm still drinking caffeine if I have anxiety? Well, it's because I have other things that caffeine actually helps a lot with. It's just whatever works for each individual person. I think it's just knowing your body and knowing how to work around it. So it's little steps like that, and maybe seeing what you can do. Maybe schedule a walk around the time that you feel most anxious. I know some people have it in the mornings. I know some people have it just before bed. Just another little tip for just managing anxiety in general, I suppose. So we come to an end to this particular weekend. I hope that this was somewhat helpful. If not for the information itself, then just for entertainment reasons. And so I think my sort of go away message is to keep informed but not panic. Recognize where your triggers lie. Then making sure that you do not enhance them by any means, and taking yourself away from situations or medias or conversations that do not really benefit you in any way. Just momentarily, doesn't mean that it has to be forever. So whatever your situation is, whatever anxieties you're feeling, take it day by day and make sure that you do whatever you can during that day to battle it in the long run. No matter how small or how big, be it literally something you can do without even moving, like challenging a thought in your mind. One of the most powerful thoughts that I constantly remind myself of is the fact that I've been through this before, maybe in a different shape, maybe in a different form. Maybe some days it feels like I've never had it as bad as I had these days. I try to remind myself that no matter what life throws at me, so far I've done well at surviving that. I've done well at handling that, and then I find things to compliment myself on. Maybe it is you still managing to go to work or to reply to your family, or like whatever it may be. Maybe petting and feeding your cat or dog, or maybe it's you literally not being able to do those things but being able to ask for help. All of these things are something to congratulate yourself on, and also just bear in mind you've been through things before, and you know it's a roller coaster, and maybe today we're in the dip of the roller coaster, but it doesn't mean that a high is not just around the corner, and it is worth fighting for that around the corner moment. I'm telling you, I'm telling myself, and I hope that helps. If you're not interested in the applied relaxation training, this is where I say goodbye. I hope you guys are well. If you are interested, I will go into that segue now, and it's definitely one of the easiest ones, and I'm sure you can find plenty of those kind of videos or just like instructions, audios. But if you want to do one with me, then you know, you're welcome, and let's go. Okay, so I'm gonna be laying down during this, but you can totally do this sitting up in a chair, at work, literally anywhere. Put my hands at my sides, and we're gonna take 5 very deep breaths, and we're gonna hold them for as long as I say, and then we're going to slowly release the air. So we're gonna take a couple of those, okay? Okay, so take a deep breath. Hold it. And exhale. Take a smaller one in between if you need to. And then take another big one. And exhale. I'm holding for about 5 seconds. So let's do it again. Deep breath in. And exhale. So one last time. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Okay, and let's now quickly walk through, well, not quickly, but just walk through the tension. So I want you to clench your right fist right now. Clench it really hard so you can feel the tension in your forearms to your elbow. You hold for a little bit longer and relax. The exact same thing on the left side. Clench your fist as hard as you can. If you have long nails like myself, it's a bit unfortunate. But just keep clenching it. Clench as hard as you can and relax. Now bend both of your arms and strengthen through your biceps, and then hold. Hold. And relax. So put your hands back on either the bed or on your seat, and then keep your hands relaxed, but tense your biceps. And you can use your chair here to make sure that you're all tense. And just squeeze. One more second. And relax. Moving into the face muscles, wrinkle your forehead by raising your eyebrows. So raise them as far as you can. Hold for another second and relax. Now crinkle your forehead by frowning. So scrunch your eyes and your eyebrows together and squeeze as hard as you can. It's not a very easy one for me. I don't know, it doesn't come naturally. and then hold and relax. The next one, I want you to press your tongue to the roof of your mouth and really press it in there and hold. And relax. Now for your lips, this is going to be very silly, but just press them together as if in a pout and hold. And relax. Now the guide that I have also asks to clench your teeth together and hold it, so if you want to, you can insert that here or at the end of the practice, but I have sensitive teeth, so I skip this one because it makes me very uncomfortable and kind of painful. So the next one that we're gonna do is we're gonna press our heads as far into the chair or into the bed as we can, so really press through your whole spine and hold and hold and relax. Next up, we're gonna push our shoulders up and then push them back and start rolling them up. Much easier on a chair, but you can definitely do them here as well. And just roll them. And I feel like if you don't have time to go through all the steps throughout the day, and you have to pick one, I would always go to the shoulder roll. Okay, now you can stop there or you can go to the second part with me, and we're gonna begin with another couple of deep breaths, really focusing on our stomach muscles. So take a deep breath in and hold. And exhale. Another one. And exhale. Okay, good. Another deep breath. Hold. And exhale. Okay, now we're gonna clench our stomach muscles and hold. Keep holding and relax. We're gonna arch your back away from the chair and away from the bed with your head straight, chin a bit lowered if you need to, and keep holding and relax. Now push your heels to the floor or the bed, and time to clench your booty. So, and hold, and really feel the tension in your legs as well. And hold and relax. Now tense your calves by pushing your heels or toes downwards, and hold, hold, hold for a little longer and relax. Now do the opposite and push toes upwards and hold. Do it as hard as you can though. And hold and relax. Now if you found it relaxing, or if you find that you need a little bit more time, stay in this position and just keep breathing nice calm breaths for as long as you want. This is basically your yoga corpse pose. So just treat yourself for a couple more calm minutes before you need to go back to your daily tasks. But until then, this is your time. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to think about anything. You can just focus on your breathing and focus on your breathes in and breathes out.